All right, hello everybody. Basically what we're gonna just go over today is just mainly how you could put in some lot drainage on your lot. If any of you had concerns of, you got a little bit of puddling, this will help too. I'm not gonna say it's gonna eliminate it completely, but it will help towards moving that water from wherever it's standing out to the place that you want it to go.
I know it's early for a question, but what causes usually that kind of problem?
Rain?
I mean, the water doesn't get absorbed by the ground, or?
Right. Yeah. I mean, over time, what happens is your ground, it gets hard. I mean, it's the bottom line. What happens, it gets wet, it dries out, gets wet, it dries out, it gets wet, it dries out. So what happens, it turns, hard and it gets compacted. So with that compaction, the drainage becomes less. So the best thing to do is to put in this drainage. I have found that this stuff right here is your most forgiving and the cheapest way to go. It's called a flex drain. If you guys look on here, Beatrice went this morning for me onto Home Depot's website and kind of printed out what the material is.
Okay.
So you can get it anywhere from $99 to $129 per 100 feet. I mean, 100 feet should be enough to almost do what you need to do. And then if you flip it on the back side, it'll show you the elbows that will hook into the downspouts and a couple different types. And those range from $5 to $7 for those. So basically, if you look at this diagram, what this is going to do is show you this over here is your downspout coming off the side of your house. Right here will show you your flex drain, which is, these elbows that are in here. Okay, there's a couple different types. So what we had a few of these laying around here at the restore. These would go into your downspout here, and then you take that flex drain after you dig your trench, and you can just flex that up. That clips in there like so. That hooks into the drain. You're done. There's no glue. There's no setup time. So I found that this is more forgiving because it flexes. When you use the rigid pipe, which they do have, you got to be more precise. You got to cut them. You got to take measurements. So it's not as forgiving.
How long does that last, and how do you have to replace it?
At least, I don't know. It's plastic, so I know it's not going to break down. It's going to be under the ground. So I'd say at least 20 years. Maybe. I don't know. Haven't done a study on it, so. Yeah, I don't want to give you the wrong information, you know what I mean? So, but what you can do is, like I said, I know a lot of these will probably have websites that you can go to take a look at their product. It'll probably answer that better for you. More gooder, as I would say. So then also it comes with what these are, just couplers. So if you had, they go anywhere from 3 to 12 feet, what we have here. It's not that roll, which I don't know if you can get this anymore. Like I said, this is something we had here at the restore. We used to have a bunch of it, now I have like 2. But so as you pull out, it'll extend and stretch, and then you can add. But I know they'll make the couplers for this stuff as well. So if you need to, you pop that on there, and then you connect the next one to it. And then if you look over here, basically what you got to do is you got to get the grade. So I would say to start out, you want to be probably about from your downspout about 2 to 3 inches under, the surface of the. Normally you're not going to plant anything that close to your house. If you are, you shouldn't, because one thing you want to try to do is I try to keep all like brushes, flowers and stuff 2 to 3 feet off of the house, and any sprinkler off of the house. So that will help also cut down on, the water going back into the foundation and underneath and causing erosion, okay? So what you'll do is you'll always make sure that wherever you're starting your tie-in at is gonna be your high side, and your low side, you need probably about 1/8 of an inch, I would say, per foot of fall. So basically what you can do is you can just start out your high side, dig it about 3 inches down, and then measure how many feet you have, and then multiply, 1/8 of an inch by that time. That'll tell you probably where you need to be at your end result. So what I would suggest doing is taking this, if you want to try to stay out of your grass area so you're not cutting up your grass in the front yard, you know what I mean? You could bring it into that planter area, dig down 2 to 3 feet under that planter area, And rather than using, because a lot of times if you look on some of the, you can probably go online and look at a few of them. At my house, they have it 90'd up. So basically what the water does is it bubbles up right out of the concrete and then goes across the sidewalk. What I suggest doing is doing what they call a French drain, where you dig about a 2 to 3 foot pit, fill it full of just rock. You could get that crushed aggregate rock. You could buy it by the bag. I think it's like $2.99 for a bag at Home Depot. Pour that in there to fill it up with it. And you'll pour that around the drain, so when the water comes down, it'll just drain into the ground. You're not gonna have to worry about that topsoil compaction issue, because down there is always gonna stay soft. And it basically acts just like a septic system does. It's basically the same thing they do. They dig down 6 feet, they make a big pit, fill it full of rock, and then they dump that 4-inch drain pipe coming off of the septic right into the ground. Okay? Any questions so far? No? We're good? Yeah? So basically what you'll need to do is just, depending on where you have some troubled areas, you know, you'll want to put these on those downspouts and then take them either to the front or the side. I try to go through the front. So then you're staying away from your neighbors and starting that, you know what I mean, issue that, why is there water draining onto mine? Because basically with the city, what they did for us on these, when I did the last 11, is normally what we would do, what I've done before in the past through, I don't know how many jurisdictions I've worked in, from the Bay Area over in Fremont to over in Antioch, Turlock, Ceres, Stockton. Basically what we do is we swell both yards away from each neighbor right into the center of the fence line. So the water goes there. They wouldn't allow me to do that. I had it graded that way. When he came out to do the final, he said, no way. So what we had to do is swell away from the fence and away from the house, which gives you a minimal area, you know, an impact zone to keep that drainage to come, you know, down and around. So what you do is just drain that stuff through the front, down this pipe, and it should eliminate all your problems.
So that rock pit area is just so somewhere for the water to go? Water
to go down, correct. So what it does is it allows the water to seep out and then go down into that, and then down and back into the ground. So what you'll do is you'll probably dig that dirt out, pile it up. You can smooth that out on the sides, you know. Fill your rock, and then you do a topsoil of, you know, your dirt, or if it's in your planter, to put your bark back over the top. You won't see it, you know what I mean? Because it's going to be down on the ground.
Yeah, and it won't ever just sink, huh?
No. It might, I mean, if you don't have compaction, but then here again, it's just a matter of taking a little bit of dirt, putting it over the top, and putting some, you know, to get that. If you want it to not, just compact it. Take a shovel and, you know what I mean, or some type of weight, and stomp it down around it. But keep in mind, by doing that, now you're compacting that soil underneath that rock, which you could tend to be harder to drain. It's nice to leave it fluffed so it's aired, it has a place to go. How are we doing so far? Good? Good? Okay. Now, basically, if you're gonna pour concrete underneath, you know what I'm saying? Just make sure if you have anybody come in to do concrete, make sure they're aware of that you have this in there. Because again, they might drive a stake through it. You know, I've had it happen before. They'll drive a stake through it, this or that. If you have concrete on the side yards, what I suggest you do is...
Can you put concrete over this?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Because I have one on my side of the, I want to pour some concrete.
Yeah, what I did in my old house that I just sold about 8 months ago, I built a dog run on the side of my house. So what I did is I put this drainage pipe in, captured my downspouts, and then I put drains in that went down and tied into this, like 2 or 3, throughout a 30-foot area. So once a week I go out there, twice a week, with the water hose and Simple Green, you know, to clean the concrete. Yeah. Hose it on down, it all goes through, comes right out into the grass in the front.
Yeah,
done.
Close to the front of the house.
Yeah.
Water the grass at the same time.
Yeah. And Simple Green's, you know, environmental friendly, so it's the best thing to use. So if your dogs or your animals were to lick it up, it won't harm them. But it also cuts down on the ammonia from the dog urine and the smell. My wife used to work for a vet, so. Next thing we're gonna go over today is basic landscape maintenance as far as your sprinkler systems. I know we're getting broken sprinklers and some homeowners haven't dealt with them before, so basically what I have here are all different kinds of risers. Different height, they come in different heights, they come in different sizes, they come in different styles. You know, this is a flexible one. These are a little more, but they're a little more forgiving if the sprinkler gets kicked, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I see that.
These are a little more cheaper, but you can cut them to size, so if you don't really, you know, you're in between a 2-inch and a 12-inch or whatever it is, you can cut these to fit. But here again, these are designed, the design for them is to break off simply. So it saves you on breaking, you know, a $6 sprinkler, you're breaking an 89-cent part.
Okay.
That's the reason why when a lot of times when you have an issue with the sprinkler, these risers are just breaking off because they're designed to do that. They're basically like a car's designed with a crash zone to, you know what I mean, to save the other, that's what it's for. So what you'll do is, obviously you'll pull that, if the sprinkler's broke all together, you pull the sprinkler out. Sometimes you get sprinklers that are sticking up and they're stuck, you know what I mean, because what's happening is over time, sand, sediment, dirt gets in there. What you do is you open up this top right here, this will all come apart. It's real simple. There's a spring, there's your head, the shaft will come out like so. Just clean all this off, run it underwater. Because what happens is the sand gets in here and it starts building up and these will they just get wedged and they're just stuck up.
It'll go up and it
Yeah.
just kind of come down.
Yeah, so also what you can do is after you pull this out, you clean it all down with water, dry it off, get a can of 100% silicone spray. And the reason why I use 100% silicone spray is it's non-oily, so it doesn't attract dust and stuff. You spray it in here.
Inside the,
Correct, on all these parts, and it won't break down the plastic because it's silicone. It'll help it glide more. You could also use that on all your door hinges. So if you got oh yeah, because if you notice over time, you put the WD-40 on your hinges,
They get dirty.
it's real dirt. It attracts dust and everything. The 100% silicone will, but not as bad. You also spray that on your vinyl windows. Helps them slide back and forth. A lot of times during the year, you come in the winter, sometimes your window's a little harder to open. Well, vinyl has a 6% expansion and contraction rate. So what's gonna happen is when your time changes, depending on how you're using your heater or your air conditioner, you know, things are gonna, you know, expand and contract. Sometimes that window might be a little more stickier at different times of year. Okay? So 100% silicone can be used there. They can be used on your garage door rollers. I spray it on all my rollers to get the garage door to roll up nicer, and that's the same thing that they use to spray on the springs on the garage door. So what I'm getting at is you can buy that one can of 100% silicone, not just think that you gotta use it only on buying this can just for this. You can use it on everything. I got 2 or 3 bottles in my garage on the shelf. So, okay. So in order, you got that all cleaned out, you'll take this little filter out, blow it out, clean it. If not, replace it. You can't get all the gunk out of it. Over time it gets like not, I don't want to say fungus in there, you know what I mean? Just moldish fungus because it's wet, it's all the time dirty. Throw these out, they're like, you can buy a pack for like a couple dollars. Put a new one in there. Put the spring back in there. Let me get the head out. Gotta do this a certain way, otherwise the head won't screw back on. That in there.
We just gotta remember how to get all that.
Yeah, hold that down, put this head back on there. Otherwise, once you go to see, it won't put the, screw that back. Otherwise, the part of the shaft will be down in here, and you can't get the head on it. Now, say you had a head that popped off, it broke, and you need to fix that sprinkler. What you're gonna have to do is unscrew this just like I showed you, and do like I just did, pull this out, same way, so you can push that down, compress it, put a new head on it. It's real simple. Say you have a sprinkler that it's spraying over here and you want to adjust it. What you can do is, they sell these at Home Depot. This one's made by Rainbird. I think they have different brands, you know. This will help you to, what you do is you open it like this, and it'll pull you get compression on it. It'll help you pull that out. And then what you could also do is you clamp it.
I was wondering how to do that because every time I try to adjust, I try to do it with the water on.
Yeah. See, and it's tricky on some of these sometimes. Doesn't wanna, of course, it's not gonna cooperate when we're on video.
It's not written in the script.
Oh, this thing.
And what is this for?
This is to adjust the sprinkler heads. So put that on there and it'll hold it up, so you don't gotta do it with the water on, getting soaking wet. You can take the head
So
off.
you get that in the sprinkler aisle?
Yep, right in the sprinkler aisle. They'll be on they're usually on these little end caps and little baggies or whatever. So, and then I know on all the newer houses that I did the 11, we put adjustable heads on there,
Yeah.
just because it's easier. And they cost a little bit more money, but if you don't really know what you're doing, I suggest spending a little more and buying the adjustable heads, because all you got to do is turn this like this and that, and the head will widen or shorten. So
Oh,
if you
instead of the other ones we have.
right where you put it in and it's only a
We
quarter
have
spray, and then sometimes you got a dead spot right here, or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
These adjustable ones are they're a little user friendly for.
So when you buy them in the pack, they're already adjusted, right?
No,
You have to adjust it.
correct. So what you'll do is they'll probably be off. You'll turn your sprinkler on, this head will pop up and
Yeah.
nothing's gonna come out. What you gotta do is go over there, hold it, turn it till it opens up. So what I suggest you do is you turn all of them on, open them where the spray you want them to go, as far as width and,
They're at the bottom of that.
yeah, it's just right there in the center actually. So you'll hold the bottom and you'll turn the center.
Right there.
You wanna look at it?
No, I see how that is. Cause I was having trouble with adjusting. I thought you adjusted them up here.
Yeah. What you adjust from there is the distance of the spray, and that's what I'm getting at next. First, you need to open
Yeah,
up
this
to
is
where
where-
the fan goes,
Mhm.
make sure the whole system's on and spraying, and then you adjust for the distance of the spray through the top of the screwdriver.
Oh.
Okay, so you can get, some of these, I think these are 15 foot. So these will shoot out 15 feet.
So that's just for distance and then the other.
Correct. So what I always do is I just buy the 15 foot fully adjustables. I mean, that's gonna cover every basis, because you can adjust this down to like 3 feet. Versus you bought one that was 3 foot with only a quarter spray, so that means it's gonna only spray out this much and it's only gonna shoot out 3 feet. But you need to go 4 to 5 feet, so you get the 15.
We can adjust that.
It's overkill, but it's adjustable,
Yeah.
so.
She wants to be on the camera.
And there are, I know Beatrice was asking, there are different sizes of sprinklers. This is a 4-inch as far as height. Basically what you need to do, out there, I think we went with 6 inches on all the 11. I don't know what's in yours. What you have to do is just unscrew it, pull it
They all
out.
fit together, right? They're all-
Yeah, exactly. You know, pull it out, you can take it to Home Depot,
Why the difference?
different heights.
Yeah, no, but why would you want us to?
The different height because some people want their sprinkler system lower in the ground. So basically, if you went with a 4-inch, your trench has to be around 6-inch, because you think of any 90 that you're going to put underneath. By the time you put your riser, you're going to be 7 to 8 inches. I go 6 inches because we cut we'll dig down a good 12 foot, so it's down in the ground. And I want it further in the ground because a lot of homeowners might want to do something. It gives you more leeway on what you're going to do in your front yard as far as trenching, because it's lower. You don't got the chances of you hitting a main water line are less. You know what I mean?
Kind of grass or something, just
Yeah.
pump it up.
So, how's that? Is this,
That's good.
anybody got
Yeah.
any more questions?
Valves.
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 Uh-huh.
I have a leaky valve in my front yard sprinkler.
Okay.
I had to shut it off because the water's coming out the
Sprinkler head.
the sprinkler head. It's just kind of drizzling out
Okay.
when the system's off.
When the system's off.
Yes.
Okay.
And so
Might be
that's-
time to replace the valve.
Is there any way to refurbish it like that or?
Yeah, you could pull it apart.
That's what, yeah.
Here
Somebody
again,
told us that there was
what I do
some
is
kids-
go online, you know what I mean? Find out what that brand is, whether it be Rainbird or Toro or Hunter. Those are about the 3 brands that are commonly sold, you know what I mean? Home Depot's, Lowe's, everybody's favorite.
Does Habitat use a specific kind?
No, whatever's on sale at that point in time. So, you know,
What do you recommend? Replacing the whole valve or fixing, getting a repair kit?
I recommend replacing the valve. It's probably, you can get one for $19 versus you can buy the repair kit and then you go and do it. You haven't done it before, for one. If it doesn't fix the problem, now you're back at square one. You just spent that repair kit, and once you open it, It's done. You're not gonna get your money back. So I would suggest just replacing the valve. That's the easiest, the quickest fix for that. But yes, you can pull them apart. Basically, it's the same thing. The tops of them, it's just a diaphragm. You unscrew that top, you turn your water off, obviously, at your shutoff. Unscrew the diaphragm, wash everything out, clean it all out in there. Shove a hose in there, spray it down if you can, you know what I mean? You can shoot a little bit of that silicone in there, put it all back together the same way you pulled it apart and see if that helps. Sometimes what happens is those O-rings in there, they're just getting old and they're just cracked and you know what I mean? And there's nothing you can do about that. But you can replace them. But commonly, I haven't seen rebuild kits at Home Depot or Lowe's.
No,
You'd have to probably go to a,
irrigation.
yeah, you'd have to go to an irrigation.
How's it for in the wintertime?
What's that?
In the wintertime when it's cold and there's water in your line, you know how it gets cold and, and things freeze in the ground, especially if it's
Yeah,
cold.
they'll freeze.
They crack, the lines below them crack.
Sometimes, yeah. Yeah, they'll crack. I mean, there's no way to really avoid it.
Yeah.
But sprinkler systems have been in the ground for how many years, you know what I mean? And you've been in your house how long now, George?
About 4 years.
Yeah. How many problems have you been really having?
None, I haven't.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Only issue that I have is like once a year.
Every once in a while the cracks.
In the winter, I turn off the system just because, it's a waste of water. Once you turn it back on, doing that maintenance like I showed you. You go through every head, pull it open, clean out the filter.
Every summer.
I do it. I do it every around February, about March. Because in March is when I do my first fertilization. So that's a good time. Because what happens is if you have crabgrass issues, March is the time you need to hit it. You need to hit it when it's dormant. If you do it after it starts spreading, you're too late. You have to hit it when it's dormant. It's usually around February, March through May. You can fertilize that to kill that crabgrass. The only way you're going to get rid of it. Costco has it in a bigger bag, so it's cheaper if you have a Costco membership. You can get a 40-pound bag for like $22.
You spread that in.
It's made by Scott's, and it has an additive in it called Holtz, and it's written in yellow. And I found that stuff works the best. Because I've tried the topical spray that you buy, and they say it won't kill your grass, it kills your grass.
I've tried that weed stuff. It kills the weeds, but not your grass.
Yeah.
Weed be gone.
And it killed it.
It doesn't work.
And it doesn't work that well. Yeah, this stuff works. I had my neighbor's lawn.
Is that good for pets and stuff?
No fertilizer is good for pets.
Just water.
Basically, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to fertilize and you're worrying about your pet eating it, then, I'd wait a few days. What you do is not have them on that lawn for at least 2 to 3 days till it starts absorbing. Because a lot of it's time release.
Yeah.
But that Holtz works the
water
best.
absorb the water, break it down.
Yeah.
Keep on the water.
Yeah, well, because then it breaks down and gets it down into the root.
Down.
Where up at the top, it's not going to be there. They won't eat it. So. And then, like I said, I also suggest you fertilize at least twice a year. If you're having weed problems, if you're not mowing your lawn once a week in the summertime, there's your weed issue.
Okay.
Oh yes, it will. Because what happens is when you mow your lawn, it's healthy for it. What it does is it helps it to grow better. It grows in thicker, and when it grows in thicker, what it does is it chokes out the weeds, and the weeds die. But remember, when you fertilize, you're going to have to mow at least once a week. If you're not, you fertilize and you let it go 2 weeks, oh man, you're going to have a heck of a time, trying to mow that.
It grows fast.
Yeah, it grows fast. But here again, it's, you can buy what I like to do is I'll hit it with that stuff in March and then wait 3 to 4 weeks. And then I hit my lawn with, it's called ammonia sulfate. It's real cheap, like $6 for a 10-pound bag. And you hit that and it'll green it up like that. Within 4 to 5 days, your lawn will.
What's the name again?
Ammonia sulfate.
Ammonia sulfate?
Yep.
I'll get you a picture.
Oh, I'm sorry. Throwing all this at you.
That one. And you can get that to hardware.
Yep. Orchard carries it. Home Depot carries
You
it.
just spread it all around?
Yeah, spread all over the spreader.
Well, you have directions on that one. back.
Yep.
And that's
So is it too late to fertilize now? or-
No, you fertilize anytime you want.
But fertilizing, you should do it when it's not like really hot though, right? During the
Correct.
day. You need to
Correct.
Early
morning or late
night.
evening. Your
Yeah.
best time to water, the key time to water is 4 to 5 in the morning.
How about in the evening?
No.
No.
Well, yes, but 9
Like
and
9
9,
o'clock, yeah,
9 to
9
10
o'clock, when the
after.
sun is down.
When you see people watering in the middle of the day, it's the worst thing you can
Yeah.
do.
It
Burns the
burns.
grass.
It's gonna burn the grass, just like water will do on your skin when the sun's out. It's gonna do the same thing to that grass that it's gonna do to there.
So
What I-
any fertilization or anything
Yeah.
like that you can put on the grass,
Yeah.
not during the hot time?
No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. Like these next 2 weeks, I'd hold off. It's gonna be in the 90s and 100s for the next 2 weeks. Wait till it gets down around these 80s and go ahead and do that.
You
You
put
know?
too much on it, it burns your grass.
Yeah, it'll burn your grass. That's why what you just gotta do is,
Get that.
that's why I suggest you use a spreader, because when you're throwing it out there like that,
Yeah.
you're gonna get a chunk in an area. That ammonia sulfate will burn it like that. It'll turn white by the morning.
Ammonium sulfate was what, for what now?
The fertilizer to turn it green. And as soon as after you spread it, turn your sprinklers on for about 12 minutes.
And it's
So it'll water. Because if you don't, I forgot one night, I did mine and my neighbors, and he came out and talked to me, and I had forgot to turn them on. Came out the next morning, the whole top of my grass was just white.
And nobody was doing it. They went through that.
Well, you know.
It happens, but
So, any other questions? No?
on the fertilizer now, I know
Yes.
there's like percentages, because I've seen that percentage on the,
Mhm.
what's a good percentage on the fertilizer? we should get?
Just get a medium where the numbers are almost all the same. Like I said, yeah,
There's
this,
different numbers on, it, I know
Mhm.
that.
yeah. That first number, the higher that first number is, the more green your lawn's gonna be.
Alright.
So if you look at that, but then there's certain times that you need to do it. And yeah, like I said, if you read the backs, they're gonna tell you when to use it and what to do with it. But like I said, what I've found to be the best that I've used, because crabgrass is a
Yeah,
very
yeah,
common problem around
right,
here.
right.
And it's hard to get rid of once you get it, is get that
And it
by
grows,
Scott's,
and
and
it
it has,
spreads.
yeah, it spreads and there's no way to kill it.
What was the name of that one thing that you said was, in that Scott's,
Halt.
how do you spell it?
I think it's HOLTS.
TS?
Yeah. Like I said, the best place for it is Costco. So if you have a Costco membership or have a family member that has it, buy it there. They won't, I don't think they're selling it right now because it's already passed. You gotta buy it around, like I said, February, March, they start bringing it out. Because this year I went and got a bag. I paid the same price for a little 10-pound bag that I would a 40-pound bag at Lowe's
And
versus
that stuff
buying
never
it.
goes back, right? Like
No.
some of the-
No.
you-
No, 'cause I still have
share,
a,
you know,
yeah,
like-
no,
you
I
don't
still have a half a
big-
bag.
Big yard, so.
Yeah, no, what you should do is if you have it in your garage, store it in a container or a trash bag. Just stick it in a trash bag, because moisture gets to it, so it clumps together. It makes it hard to use in your spreader. So, okay. Well, thank you guys.